The year was 2000. A new millennium had just begun. People around the world were preparing for a future filled with uncertainty, excitement, and endless possibilities. But while millions celebrated the arrival of a new era, the United States Mint quietly released a coin that, decades later, would spark curiosity, fuel treasure-hunting dreams, and send collectors scrambling through their spare change. That coin was the 2000p Washington quarter. And believe it or not, some examples of this ordinary-looking quarter have been associated with values reaching astonishing heights, with rumors and rare varieties commanding attention from collectors across America. But how can a coin worth just 25 cents become the center of a treasure hunt? What secrets could possibly hide inside a quarter that millions of Americans carried in their pockets every single day? And why are collectors still searching for certain examples of the 2000p Washington quarter more than 2 decades later? To understand the mystery, we need to travel back in time. The Washington quarter first entered circulation in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the birth of President George Washington. What began as a temporary commemorative coin quickly became one of America's most enduring pieces of currency. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the quarter featured the iconic portrait of Washington that generations of Americans would instantly recognize. By the year 2000, the Washington quarter had already become an American institution. But this particular year held special significance. America had entered the new millennium, and the U.S. Mint was in the midst of one of the most successful coin programs in history, the 50-state quarters program. Yet, alongside the celebrated state quarters, the traditional Washington quarter design continued to circulate in massive numbers. At the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the tiny P mint mark, over 1 billion quarters were struck during the year 2000. On the surface, that production number should make the coin extremely common and virtually worthless beyond its face value. But in the world of coin collecting, appearances can be deceiving. Sometimes, a tiny mistake made during the minting process can transform an ordinary coin into a legendary rarity. A slight misalignment, an unexpected die crack, a doubling effect invisible to most people. These imperfections can turn pocket change into a collector's dream. And that's exactly why the 2000p Washington quarter has captured the imagination of treasure hunters. Over the years, collectors have discovered several fascinating varieties and errors among 2000 Philadelphia quarters. Some display dramatic die cracks that create unusual raised lines across the coin's surface. Others exhibit off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or striking anomalies that make each example unique. Error coin collectors know that rarity often isn't determined by how many coins were originally produced. Instead, rarity emerges from the unexpected accidents that survive. Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out a quarter you've ignored for years, only to discover that it contains a rare mint error worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That possibility keeps collectors searching. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 2000p Washington quarter is the persistent circulation of stories about exceptionally valuable examples. Auction records for rare mint errors and extraordinary specimens have fueled speculation online, with some reports suggesting that highly unusual examples could command enormous premiums under the right circumstances. Of course, not every 2000p quarter is valuable. In fact, the overwhelming majority remain worth exactly 25 cents. But that's precisely what makes the hunt so exciting. Hidden among billions of ordinary coins could be a rare survivor with a remarkable story to tell. And then there's the condition factor. In coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin that spent years bouncing around in pockets, cash registers, and vending machines may have little collector value. But a pristine example preserved from the day it was minted can become something entirely different. Professional grading services use a numerical scale from 1 to 70 to evaluate coin quality. At the highest levels, where nearly flawless examples reside, prices can increase dramatically. Collectors compete fiercely for coins that exhibit exceptional strike quality, original luster, and virtually no signs of wear. This creates a fascinating paradox. A quarter minted by the billions can become extraordinarily scarce when searching for examples preserved in perfect condition. Suddenly, finding a flawless 2000p Washington quarter becomes much like searching for a needle in a haystack. But perhaps the most captivating aspect of this coin isn't its potential value. It's the dream. Throughout history, treasure hunters have been driven by the belief that extraordinary discoveries can emerge from ordinary places. Gold buried beneath ancient ruins, rare artifacts hidden in forgotten attics, priceless paintings found at garage sales. The 2000p Washington quarter represents a modern version of that timeless human fascination. Every jar of spare change becomes a treasure chest. Every handful of coins becomes an opportunity. Every trip to the bank carries the possibility of uncovering something remarkable. And there have been real stories. Collectors have discovered valuable mint errors in inherited collections, forgotten piggy banks, and rolls of coins purchased directly from banks. Some have found rare varieties after decades of searching. Others stumbled upon them completely by accident. These stories fuel the imagination because they remind us that history isn't always locked away in museums or hidden in archaeological sites. Sometimes history sits quietly in our pockets. The year 2000 itself adds another layer of fascination. It marked not only the beginning of a new millennium but also a unique moment in American history. Concerns about Y2K had dominated headlines. Technology was rapidly transforming society. The internet age was exploding, and through it all, billions of Washington quarters continued passing through American hands, silently documenting an era of enormous change. Today, more than a quarter century later, those same coins remain scattered throughout circulation, collections, and forgotten drawers across the country. So what if you happen to find one? Could it be an ordinary quarter worth exactly 25 cents? Absolutely. Could it be a pristine survivor preserved in extraordinary condition? Possibly. Could it contain a rare mint error that transforms it into a collector's prize? That's the question that keeps treasure hunters searching. And maybe that's the real value of the 2000p Washington quarter. Not merely the possibility of financial wealth, but the excitement of discovery itself. Because every coin tells a story. Every scratch, every detail, every imperfection carries a piece of history. And sometimes, hidden within the most ordinary objects, we discover something extraordinary. So the next time you receive change at a store, pause for just a moment before dropping those coins into a jar. Take a closer look at that quarter in your hand. Because somewhere out there, another collector is searching for the very same treasure. And who knows? The next great coin discovery might already be sitting in your pocket. What if I told you that a coin worth just 25 cents could be hiding a secret that has sent collectors into a frenzy, sparked online treasure hunts, and fueled rumors of values reaching hundreds of thousands of dollars? It sounds impossible. After all, we're talking about a modern coin, one that millions of Americans have handled without giving it a second thought. But the story of the 2014 Washington quarter is one of mystery, obsession, and the enduring dream that extraordinary treasure can still be found in ordinary pocket change. In a world where most valuable coins are centuries old, covered in legends, and locked away in museum collections, the 2014 Washington quarter challenges everything collectors think they know. Could a coin minted in the 21st century really become one of the most talked about modern quarters in America? And why are some collectors willing to spend years searching through rolls of coins hoping to find one specific example? To understand this remarkable story, we have to travel back to 2014. The year was marked by rapid technological change, social media was transforming how collectors shared discoveries, and the United States Mint was continuing one of the most successful coin programs in American history. The America the Beautiful Quarters program. Introduced in 2010, this ambitious series honored national parks and historic sites across the United States and its territories, creating a new generation of coin collectors. At the Denver Mint, identified by the famous D Mint mark, hundreds of millions of quarters rolled off the presses during 2014. To most Americans, these coins were simply currency. They bought coffee, paid tolls, disappeared into vending machines, and accumulated in jars and pockets across the country. But among those countless ordinary quarters, collectors began noticing something extraordinary. The Washington quarter itself has a rich history stretching back to 1932, when it was first introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the birth of President George Washington. What was intended as a temporary commemorative issue became one of America's longest-running coin designs. Over the decades, the quarter evolved from a simple circulating coin into a canvas that tells the story of the nation itself. By 2014, the quarter was more than just money. It had become a piece of living history. The Denver Mint produced several different quarter designs that year, each honoring a different national park or historic location. These included Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Shenandoah National Park, Arches National Park, Great Sand Dunes National Park, and Everglades National Park. Collectors eagerly searched for high-grade examples, hoping to discover coins with exceptional strikes, unusual characteristics, or rare minting errors. And that's where the real mystery begins. You see, in the world of coin collecting, rarity isn't always determined by age. Sometimes, rarity is created by accident. A tiny error, a subtle variation, a nearly invisible detail that transforms a common coin into an object of obsession. Over the years, rumors spread through collecting communities about exceptional 2014 D Washington quarters. Some featured dramatic die chips. Others displayed doubling effects or striking anomalies. A handful were discovered with unusual minting characteristics that made experts stop and take a closer look. Could these modern errors really command astonishing prices? The answer, surprisingly, is yes. In the numismatic world, condition is everything. A coin that survives in perfect condition, untouched by circulation and graded at the highest levels, can become exponentially more valuable than its ordinary counterparts. Professional grading services have documented examples of modern quarters achieving remarkable prices when they combine exceptional preservation with rarity or unique minting characteristics. This phenomenon transformed the 2014 D Washington quarter from a simple piece of change into something much more powerful. A symbol of possibility. Imagine opening a roll of quarters from your local bank. You expect nothing unusual. Then suddenly, one coin catches your eye. The strike appears sharper. The surfaces gleam differently. Maybe there's a small anomaly you've never noticed before. What would you do? For countless collectors, that question became an obsession. Online forums filled with stories of treasure hunters searching through thousands of quarters. Families gathered around kitchen tables examining pocket change under magnifying glasses. Some collectors searched for years without success. Others discovered fascinating varieties hidden in plain sight. And then there were the headlines. Stories began circulating online about modern quarters allegedly worth tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even approaching $1 million. These dramatic claims spread rapidly across social media platforms, fueling excitement and inspiring new collectors to begin their own searches. But here's where reality becomes even more interesting than the myth. While sensational figures like $914,000 often represent theoretical valuations, misunderstandings, or extremely exceptional circumstances involving unique errors and market speculation, genuinely rare and significant modern coin errors can indeed command astonishing prices. The dream persists because history has repeatedly shown that incredible discoveries can emerge from the most ordinary places. Consider this. Some of the most famous coin discoveries in American history occurred not in archaeological excavations or royal treasure vaults, but in pocket change, cash registers, and forgotten collections. That's what makes the 2014 D Washington quarter story so compelling. It represents something deeper than monetary value. It embodies the enduring human belief that hidden treasure still exists, that somewhere, perhaps in a forgotten coin jar sitting on a shelf, there may be a discovery waiting to rewrite expectations. The cultural significance of the quarter itself cannot be overstated. Every American has held one. Every generation has used them. They are among the most democratic objects in existence, passed from hand to hand millions of times without ceremony or recognition. Yet occasionally, one of those ordinary objects becomes extraordinary. Today, collectors continue searching through rolls of 2014 D Washington quarters. They examine mint marks, inspect surfaces, study strike quality, and hunt for anomalies invisible to the casual observer. Most will never find a life-changing rarity. But that's not really the point. The real treasure lies in the search itself. It's the excitement of possibility, the thrill of discovery, the moment when an ordinary object suddenly becomes a doorway into history, craftsmanship, and mystery. So the next time you receive a quarter in change, pause for just a moment. Look closely. Ask yourself a simple question. What stories has this coin witnessed? Where has it traveled? And could this seemingly ordinary piece of metal be hiding something extraordinary? Because somewhere out there, perhaps right now, a forgotten 2014 Washington quarter sits unnoticed in a pocket, a cash register, or a dusty coin jar. And until someone discovers its secret, the hunt continues. Have you ever checked your pocket change for hidden treasure? And if you found a coin rumored to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, would you sell it immediately or keep it as the ultimate piece of American history? Let us know, because in the fascinating world of coin collecting, the next great discovery may be closer than anyone imagines. Have you ever looked at the loose change in your pocket and wondered if one ordinary-looking quarter could secretly be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? What if a coin you could receive at a grocery store, a gas station, or even find tucked away in an old jar was hiding a story so unusual that collectors across America would pay staggering amounts to own it? Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating mystery of the 2015 Washington quarter, a modern coin that has sparked excitement, controversy, and treasure-hunting dreams among collectors everywhere. At first glance, the 2015 Washington quarter doesn't look extraordinary. It carries the familiar portrait of George Washington that Americans have recognized for generations. It's a coin that millions of people have spent without a second thought. But as every experienced treasure hunter knows, appearances can be deceiving. Sometimes the greatest treasures are hidden in plain sight. The year was 2015. The United States Mint was continuing its immensely popular America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that celebrated national parks and historic sites across the nation. Produced at the Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the tiny P mint mark, these quarters entered circulation by the hundreds of millions. To the average American, they were simply everyday change. To collectors, however, they represented something far more exciting: possibility. What makes this story so compelling is not just the coin itself, but the incredible discoveries that followed. Across the country, collectors began reporting unusual examples of certain 2015 quarters. Some displayed dramatic minting errors. Others exhibited exceptionally rare characteristics that transformed a 25-cent coin into a collector's dream. Imagine finding a quarter worth more than your car or your house. It sounds impossible, doesn't it? Yet stories of modern coin discoveries have repeatedly proven that extraordinary value can emerge from the most ordinary places. The Washington quarter itself has a remarkable history stretching back to 1932. Originally introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the coin was never intended to become a permanent fixture of American currency. Yet its popularity ensured its survival, and over the decades, it evolved into one of the most recognized coins in the world. By 2015, the quarter had become more than just money. It had become a canvas for American history, culture, and artistry. Each America the Beautiful quarter showcased a unique location, preserving pieces of national heritage in metal. The Philadelphia Mint worked tirelessly to produce these coins, striking them with incredible precision. But sometimes, despite the best technology and quality control, fascinating mistakes happen. And that's where the mystery begins. Collectors have long known that mint errors can transform ordinary coins into extraordinary treasures. Double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, missing clad layers, and other manufacturing anomalies can create one-of-a-kind pieces that command astonishing prices. The rarer the error, the more intense the competition among collectors becomes. Among the 2015 Washington quarters, several spectacular error coins emerged. Some featured dramatic strike-through errors. Others displayed doubled features or significant die defects. These weren't just mistakes. They were accidental works of art, created during fractions of a second inside the powerful presses of the United States Mint. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the 2015 quarter phenomenon is the psychology behind it. Why do people become so obsessed with searching through pocket change? Why does the possibility of discovering hidden treasure capture our imagination so completely? The answer may lie deep within human nature itself. For centuries, people have dreamed of finding lost treasure. From buried pirate gold to forgotten royal jewels, the idea that immense wealth could be hidden just beyond our awareness has always fascinated us. Modern coin collecting offers a version of that ancient dream that anyone can participate in. You don't need expensive equipment. You don't need a map. Sometimes all you need is a quarter and a careful eye. This dream has inspired countless stories. Families have spent evenings searching through rolls of coins from local banks. Retirees have turned coin hunting into a passionate hobby. Young collectors have discovered valuable errors that changed their understanding of what treasure can look like. But here's where things become even more intriguing. You may have seen claims online suggesting that certain 2015 Washington quarters are worth as much as $915,000. These headlines spread rapidly across social media, creating excitement and inspiring millions to examine their spare change. Yet the reality behind these extraordinary valuations deserves careful examination. While rare error coins and exceptionally preserved specimens can indeed command impressive prices, there is currently no publicly documented sale of a standard 2015 Washington quarter reaching anywhere near $915,000. High-value modern quarters typically derive their worth from extraordinary mint errors, unique characteristics, or exceptional grading conditions verified by professional certification services. Does that make the search any less exciting? Absolutely not. In fact, the opposite may be true, because the possibility remains. Every year, previously unknown varieties and errors are discovered. Every year, collectors uncover coins that experts had never documented before. The world of numismatics is filled with surprises, and history has repeatedly shown that assumptions can be overturned overnight. Consider this: millions of 2015 quarters remain in circulation today. They pass through cash registers, vending machines, and piggy banks every single day. Somewhere, perhaps in a forgotten drawer or an old coffee can, there could still be an undiscovered rarity waiting to be found. That's what makes this story so powerful. The 2015 Washington quarter represents more than metal and money. It represents hope, curiosity, and the enduring human desire to uncover hidden treasures. It reminds us that extraordinary discoveries often begin with ordinary objects. It proves that history isn't confined to museums and textbooks. Sometimes history jingles in your pocket. So the next time someone hands you a quarter as change, pause for just a moment. Take a closer look. Examine the date. Check the mint mark. Search for something unusual. Because while most quarters will always be worth exactly 25 cents, one unexpected discovery could transform an ordinary day into the adventure of a lifetime. And perhaps the greatest mystery of all isn't whether a rare 2015 Washington quarter is still out there. It's whether you're the person who's about to find it. If you've ever discovered an unusual coin in your pocket change, or if you're planning to start searching after hearing this story, share your experience. Because in the world of treasure hunting, every collector has a story, and the next incredible discovery could belong to you. The coin sitting quietly in your pocket right now could be hiding a secret worth thousands of dollars. It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? After all, how could an ordinary-looking quarter from 2019 possibly become the subject of intense collector interest, online auctions, and treasure hunting excitement? Yet one particular coin has done exactly that. The 2019 Washington quarter dollar has sparked curiosity among collectors and everyday Americans alike, with some extraordinary examples reportedly attracting attention worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But what makes this modern coin so fascinating? And could there still be undiscovered treasures hiding in circulation today? To understand the mystery surrounding the 2019 Washington quarter, we need to travel back more than 2 centuries. The story of the Washington quarter itself began in 1932, when the United States Mint introduced a new quarter dollar design to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. What started as a one-year commemorative issue became one of the longest-running and most recognizable coin series in American history. Fast forward to 2019, and the Washington quarter had evolved into something entirely different. The United States Mint was in the midst of its ambitious America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that celebrated national parks and historic sites across all 50 states and U.S. territories. Each year brought new designs, new stories, and, perhaps most importantly for collectors, new opportunities for rare errors and valuable discoveries. The 2019 Washington quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of America's oldest and most historic minting facilities. Unlike older Philadelphia coins, which often lacked mint marks, these quarters proudly carried the P mint mark, identifying their birthplace. Hundreds of millions were produced, making them seem anything but rare. Yet history has taught collectors an important lesson. Sometimes the most valuable coins emerge from the largest production runs. In 2019, the U.S. Mint released 5 different America the Beautiful quarter designs. They honored Lowell National Historical Park in Massachusetts, American Memorial Park in the Northern Mariana Islands, War in the Pacific National Historical Park in Guam, San Antonio Missions National Historical Park in Texas, and Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness in Idaho. Each design told a unique story of American heritage, but one of them would soon become the center of a modern numismatic mystery. Collectors began noticing something unusual. Certain 2019 quarters exhibited striking minting anomalies and errors that transformed ordinary pocket change into extraordinary discoveries. Some featured dramatic die chips, doubled images, off-center strikes, and other production anomalies that fascinated the collecting community. Suddenly, people across the country were searching through jars of spare change, hoping to uncover a hidden treasure. But perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the 2019 quarter phenomenon isn't just the errors themselves. It's the psychology of the hunt. Imagine receiving change after buying a cup of coffee. You casually glance at a quarter before dropping it into your pocket. What if that coin, worth only 25 cents in everyday commerce, could potentially be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more to the right collector? That possibility has fueled countless treasure hunts across America, turning ordinary citizens into amateur numismatists overnight. One of the most talked about varieties involved unusual die deterioration patterns and striking errors that created visual effects unlike anything collectors had seen in recent years. Online forums exploded with speculation. Auction sites saw increased activity. Videos documenting discoveries attracted millions of views. The modern coin hunt had become a cultural phenomenon. Yet this raises an important question. How can a coin produced just a few years ago become so valuable so quickly? The answer lies in a fascinating intersection of rarity, condition, demand, and human psychology. While millions of 2019 quarters entered circulation, only a tiny fraction exhibited the specific characteristics that collectors desired. Of those, even fewer survived in pristine condition. Suddenly, a coin that was technically common became extraordinarily rare in a very specific context. Consider the remarkable journey of a collector who discovered an unusual 2019 quarter while sorting through bank rolls purchased on a whim. At first glance, the coin appeared ordinary, but upon closer inspection, subtle details revealed a striking anomaly. What had started as a casual hobby transformed into an exciting investigation, culminating in authentication, grading, and widespread attention within the collecting community. Stories like these continue to fuel the enduring appeal of coin collecting. Unlike many forms of treasure hunting, numismatics offers the tantalizing possibility that incredible discoveries may still be circulating in plain sight. There are no maps to decipher, no remote islands to explore, no ancient tombs to excavate. Sometimes all it takes is curiosity and a careful eye. The cultural significance of the Washington quarter itself also adds to the fascination. For generations of Americans, quarters have been more than just currency. They've represented history lessons, road trips, arcade games, parking meters, vending machines, and countless everyday experiences. To discover that one of these familiar objects might hold extraordinary value creates a powerful emotional connection. Of course, not every 2019 Washington quarter is worth a fortune. In fact, the vast majority remain worth their face value of 25 cents. But that's precisely what makes the hunt so compelling. The possibility, however small, transforms every handful of change into a potential adventure. Professional coin graders and experienced numismatists emphasize that condition plays a critical role in determining value. A perfectly preserved specimen with a significant mint error can command astonishing prices compared to an ordinary circulated example. This reality has inspired countless collectors to study minting processes, grading standards, and historical production records in pursuit of the next great discovery. And perhaps that's the greatest mystery surrounding the 2019 P. Washington quarter. How many remarkable examples remain undiscovered? Are they sitting forgotten in piggy banks, hidden in old coin jars, or passing from hand to hand unnoticed every single day? As we reflect on the extraordinary story of this modern American coin, we're reminded that treasure doesn't always belong to the distant past. Sometimes history unfolds right before our eyes. Sometimes the artifacts that captivate future generations are being created in our own lifetime. And sometimes the next great discovery might already be sitting quietly in your pocket. So the next time you receive a quarter in change, take a moment to look a little closer. Examine the date. Notice the mint mark. Study the details. Because in the fascinating world of coin collecting, the line between ordinary currency and extraordinary treasure can be thinner than anyone ever imagined. And who knows? The next legendary discovery story might begin with a simple quarter and a single question. What if this one is different?